Hi, I am Manuela. Welcome to my channel. My content will be based on creating narcissistic abuse awareness, more so from a biblical standpoint, and other related life issues. So let's get right into the topic for the day. The people you must avoid at all costs when you are looking for a godly marriage partner. When we are growing up, we tend to have these dreams of how our lives will unfold. I'll go to school, graduate, start working, get a life partner, have kids, and we age. Well, that comes with what kind of partner would I love to settle with? And we build our lists, such as he or she must come from a good background, he must be or she must be godly, good looking, hardworking, among the rest. You know the lists, you have your own. And as a Christian, in this one is plastered right from the get-go on everyone's forehead. You must not be equally yoked with an unbeliever. You must not. So at whatever given point, we have that in place. And most times we believe these people who are not whom we shouldn't be equally yoked with are people like the Muslims, as we do not share the faith. Thing that is always missed is there's a category of people whom God has warned us about over and over and over, and these are the wolves in sheep's clothing. We never get to talk about them, but they are the majority in church. I mean, at every given turn, they are there. These are people who talk like us, they walk like us, they laugh like us, they dress like us, they interact like any other person. But these people are different. They do not think like us. They don't. And this will bring me back to the enemy scavenging most marriages, and that's why you'll find that there's a high rate of divorce. We're looking at the narcissistic personality disordered people. Narcissistic personality disorder is where one has a grandiose sense of self-importance. They have an insatiable need for affirmation, admiration, adulation, and attention, and they lack empathy, among a host of other issues. Narcissistic personality disorder is a cluster B in the diagnostic and statistical manual of mental disorders, edition 5. You find it lists 10 disorders, and they're in clusters. There's cluster A, cluster B, and cluster C. Cluster A, these are the paranoid, schizoid, schizotypal personality disorders. These are people kind of are odd. They are odd in nature. They live, you find, kind of in a fantasy world. Yeah, here and there. Then cluster B, these people are erratic in nature. They are dramatic. Their relationships are diabolical. Whether you like it or not, they are diabolical. So you're going to find people like the histrionic personality disorder, the antisocial personality disorder, previously known as the psychopaths and sociopaths, then narcissistic personality disorder and borderline personality disorder. Cluster C, you're going to find the dependent personality disorder, the anxious personality disordered people there, and also the obsessive compulsive people there. And these ones here are riddled, like I said, they are riddled with anxiety and avoidance. The personality disorder awareness is gaining steam in Africa. Personally, I'm from Uganda, and without the knowledge of this disorder, many of us are perishing. The Bible says, my people perish for lack of knowledge. If our premarital counselors looked into this disorder, I'm certain the majority of marriages would be saved. Young people would be saved from making certain horrendous mistakes by picking partners who are masquerading to be Christian, yet they are not. These people, like I told you, they look like us, talk like us, but they have a disorder. So it means there are two worlds we are looking at. They masquerade. And that's where the wolves in sheep's clothing comes in. It befits these people. NPD is a cluster B. It's a cluster B disorder. There are 10 disorders, specifically looking at cluster B, which is the antagonistic kind. This cluster B is, when they talk of antagonistic, our equal to Mawaya. I'll be looking at the 9 characteristics the psychologists have listed, and they talk of the 9. If you can identify 5, this is usually done by a certified therapist. However, it is the only known personality disorder where they even tell you people who live with them, such as their spouses and children, can identify 5 traits out of the 9. This person is an NPD, full blown. Remember, narcissism is on a continuum from the very healthy one to the darkest. I'm talking about the darkest. An NPD is the darkest. And when you hear me in this video and subsequent ones, when I talk of narcissistic, I mean an NPD. I don't mean someone within the spectrum, just like their autism is. I don't mean those people who are within. Those ones you can seek help and you will get it. But an NPD, there's no known help, no known person who has been cured of NPD, even healed, no known. You who is born again, I can't call you a narcissist. I can't even put you on this spectrum because you are a new creation in Christ Jesus. Personality disorders are those that refer to our thinking, feeling, behavior that goes against or deviates from the societal norms and expectations. It cripples your functionality in your personal life, in your work, in school, generally your entire life. So without further ado, let us dig into the first trait. And the very first one I'll be looking at is they have a grandiose sense of self-importance. These are people who believe they are larger than life. Without them, you cannot be. They are pretentious. They always love to display themselves as all perfect, almighty. They have your they hold your destiny. They determine it. So you need to know who you are when you're in front of them or when you're before them. They always have this belief that they possess unlimited power. So they want you to serve them at every given moment. They will appear like they are servicing you, but they are not. Every act they carry out, every act of kindness they carry out is abuse, because there is something they are going to gain out of it. They never carry out acts of kindness. There's nothing for free in their world. Nothing. Just remember that. The second trait is these people here associate with only a people of a certain caliber. They are not going to, they love the lawyers, all those, the lawyers, doctors, surgeons, judges. But they don't go for just any judge, any lawyer, no. They go for the cream of the cream. So those are the people they want to associate with. Then they will want to associate with clubs. Let me give an example of the Rotarian Club. You know, they identify themselves with it, like that is what gives them their identity. Without it, or without you mentioning, say, their accolades or their association, they will hit the roof. I mean, they'll have a bone to pick with you for having not acknowledged who they are, if I may, and lack any ability to introspect. So every validation comes from without. It doesn't come from within. So introspection is not an end game for them. They can't do it. They have this notion that, you know, birds of the same feathers flock together. The thing they forget about that is that birds have a nature. Narcissists don't have a nature that they want to associate themselves with. Every bird knows its kind. Narcissists do not know who they are. Their identity is built on a falsehood. So they do not know who they are. So if they do not know who they are, how are they going to identify another person that they are going to build an identity with? All they know is that if I associate with the wealthy, I'll be known as wealthy. So like currently we have Elon, who is the wealthiest known man. You'll hear them they'll call me Elon, you know, before call me Bill Gates. Any person wealthy, they'll try to associate themselves with that. Call me boss, call me this. I'm a Rotarian. Do you know who I am? Without you know, you should recognize me. Do you know who Rotarians are? Without that association, wahako kitu yoyote. These people demand and have an insatiable need for attention, adulation, affirmation, and admiration. There is something called narcissistic supply. Narcissistic supply is simply the energy you give off, whether positive or negative, whether you're happy or mad. So mad, you're angry. That is all energy. If you do not give them or acknowledge their presence or their being or their effort the way they want you to do, they will hit the roof. You may thank them for having maybe carried out a favor, a kind gesture towards you. You may thank them for something they've bought or something they've done. Even if you said thank you, that thank you must be in the way they feel it should be, not the way you have said it. You may say thank you for buying me lunch. I'm grateful. You saved the day for me. They can feel good. Then they'll be like, let's another time they do it, and you're like, thank you so much for buying me lunch. They'll feel slighted. Why? You didn't tell them that they saved your life. What appears overboard is what, for them, that is the world they live in. So without it, they'll throw a tantrum like this 3-year-old in a toy store who wants another 10th toy just because he doesn't have the blue color among the other colors he has picked of the same toy. You know, you're now thinking, the little one, you'll be like, oh, my sweetie, my, whatever sweet one, Jog, my warrior. This is an adult. What you're thinking about is you're looking for one of those aisle attendants, and you're like, excuse me, where is your dog section? It's like, over there. Do you have any chains? Yeah. You get the drift. Nana anataka tuko. Namnipa yake. You know, an adult throwing a tantrum. You know, these kids who throw themselves on the floor and they are hitting their legs and arms and they roll. And you now think of this adult. The adult. Whether he's 20, he's an octogenarian, whatever age, they'll still throw the tantrum like that small little kid, that baby, because developmentally they are rested. Then they have this arrogant trait about them. They believe they are superior. It aligns itself with the grandiosity. They believe they are superior to the rest. There's this other, I think I term it the narcissistic curse. Because the very people they despise, the inferior people, they require them, they demand them, they are addicted to them to give them supply. This supply, the narcissistic supply I'm talking of, is the way you breathe in air to live. For them, they breathe in narcissistic supply. Without that narcissistic supply, these people here go down. They can die. And that's why if you're in a relationship with any of these people, you'll find they provoke you. They'll keep provoking you. Their world it's chaotic. There's confusion. They have to keep provoking you so that they get that drama gives them life. It's energy they are sucking from you. So that arrogancy displays a lot. It's a cover for fear, shame, lack of ability to qualify for something that they are looking for, but they don't know even what. It just makes them feel they are someone, because on the inside they don't feel they are anything. God detests arrogancy. He humbles the proud, and the arrogant people are usually prayed for. Then you also find that Jesus is a perfect example of a great leader. He came to serve. He left the heavenly glories and came to serve. Narcissists don't like to serve. So remember when I told you any act of kindness, there's a catch to it. There's nothing for free when you're dealing with narcissists. So be mindful of that. The other trait is narcissists are envious, and they believe others are envious of them. It is a trait that spells insecurity. When they see you with something, they will also want it. So they kind of hoard. They keep collecting just to fit in, to get something better, than the other person. So you'll find that these are people, you can be at home, you have a screen, and a month or two after having purchased a screen, another screen is being brought in. Reason, this one is smaller, I've brought a bigger one. And you're like, what? And people who have them for friends, you need to be very cautious. An envious person is a deadly person. They will do whatever it takes to get what they want. And they will always have a bone to pick with you. Yet they are laughing and smiling with you. So you can imagine you have an envious person for a partner. Remember, marriage is a partnership. You are doing everything towards the benefit of the marriage. But the very person whom you should be working with is against you, is working against you. Think about that. God also forbids envy. Envy rots the bone. The person constantly thinks of how to bring you down. That's the thing about envious people. They are like they are just this snake in the grass, waiting for an opportune moment. They bite you. So be very careful about people you call friends when they are narcissists. Having a narcissist for a friend is like signing your death sentence. The other trait about these people is that they are exploitative. These people, they will do whatever it takes. I mean whatever it takes to get what they want from you. They will cheat, they will lie, they will kill you if they must. There have been cases where a guy gets married to a young woman from a very prestigious family, and all he's doing is just targeting marriage with her, a few months with her, or even at most it can be a year, but usually a year is long a period, usually months. During those months, they are working their bonds off just to get contacts, and they don't care. It's always drama with these people. You're quarreling over this, quarreling over that, irrelevant things. Accusations are being thrown left, right, and center. You're trying to get a standing or a footing of what is being thrown your way. Before you know it, you're just like, I'm done. And it's like, cool, where are the divorce papers? He either initiates it or you've initiated it. He signs them and off he goes. What is it? His target was just connections. You had the means for him to get there. These people never pick partners that they love. No, they have no love. They don't. They pick partners who are going to take them where they want them to go. Are you the person who is going to give them this face of an upright man? They will come for you. They will come for you. So be very cautious about these predators, these energy vampires. They are like their father, the devil. He disguised himself in the Garden of Eden, and look where we are today. Look where we are today. So be very cautious about these people. Very cautious. They are demonic in nature. Then the other one I'm going to talk about, they have a sense of entitlement. These people here, I'll use they believe you owe them, the world owes them. They move with that mentality. You can be, say, at a bank, everyone has queued, maybe they have been there an hour or two, and they are waiting to be served. For them, they'll come in and they're like, they need to be served there and then. Please attend to them. They don't have time. They have a lot of work to do. And you're like, Ebo, for us, we have 48 hours, while you have 24 hours. You know, someone takes you for granted. You've been there the entire time. You're queuing. But for them, you know, I'm so busy. So for us, we have 48 hours, you have 24. You know, that entitlement. They live in this realm of fantasies of unlimited success, power, romance, you know, wealth. These people believe they are the best of the best. They deserve the best of the best, and they will envision themselves. Even when they don't have it, they'll walk around like they do. They'll keep associating themselves with people who do. You'll hear the way they want to make especially here the somatics come in. It's a subtype of narcissism. They will want to show off like their bodies. You'll hear things of like, you're the sexiest woman alive, the sexiest man alive, you know, the best abs on earth, all that. And they feel, you know, they want to be on every cover. They want to be on it, and they want to be exalted in all those covers. But that's not the case. Yeah, it's a fantasy world, like I said. So that they will associate only with the best of the best. These are people you'll hear, they go and take photos. They are passing by a certain place and they see someone's very nice car, flashy car. They'll go and take a selfie, you know, and then they will post like it's theirs. They enter someone's home and they want to take photos from all different angles, and they post them like that is their home. Those are the people I'm talking about. That fantasy world they live in. This is the crux of narcissism. Lack of empathy. These people are empathy impaired. They are cold. They are soulless. They're just like the psychopaths we talk of, the antisocial personality people. They are so cold on the inside that they don't care whatever they do to you. That's why they lie, they cheat, they don't care if they hurt you. They don't care about your pain. All they care about is it good for me? Yes. So they don't see any problem with their personality, and this is what wraps it up. They lack empathy. Empathy is simply putting yourself in another person's shoes, and that state leads you into wanting to better the other person because they're in pain. You don't want them to be in pain, and that leads you to compassion, and you cannot have compassion without love. So in other words, empathy is actually the love we are talking about. These people are empathy impaired. In other words, they do not have love. 1 John chapter 4 verse 8 tells us God is love. So if these people lack empathy, and yet empathy, we know, is rooted in compassion, which is rooted in love. These people lack love, and anyone who has lived with them will attest to this. Their actions don't spell love. They spell hate, rage, anger, fear, shame. All the negative emotions you can imagine. They are wrapped up in there. And this is what makes or breaks a narcissist. So I encourage people, look into this, look through this disorder. Go and read far and wide. This will help you avoid those horrible mistakes you'd have made. So that's it. So I will wrap it up for now and wait for my next video where I will be bringing it to you from the Bible. Remember, you are blessed beyond measure. Blessings.